It was quite late and I was almost exhausted from the long road trip. The winding road stretched out before me, disappearing into the thick forest that surrounded it. Darkness had settled in, and a sense of unease gnawed at the edges of my mind. I had been driving for hours, desperate to find a gas station and escape the desolate wilderness that seemed to swallow me whole. As if answering my prayers, a flickering neon sign emerged from the shadows ahead. "Last stop gas station," it read, the letters barely visible through the dense mist that blanketed the area. Relief washed over me as I pulled into the seemingly deserted station, the only light coming from a dimly lit window. I stepped out of my car, the chill of the night air sending shivers down my spine. The darkness enveloped the surroundings, punctuated only by the dim glow of the moon. The sound of my footsteps reverberated through the stillness, amplifying the unnerving silence that hung heavy in the air. Every instinct within me screamed that I was not alone, that unseen eyes followed my every move, tracking my journey through the desolate landscape. Hesitant but determined, I approached the window. Its windows were shattered, their jagged edges glinting ominously in the pale moonlight. The structure stood as a testament to neglect and decay, its walls exuding a sense of foreboding that gnawed at my resolve. I peered inside. I blinked, convinced that my eyes were playing tricks on me. A grizzled old man stood behind the counter, his eyes weary and suspicious. His voice was hoarse as he asked, "What brings you out here, stranger?" "I need gas," I replied, trying to mask my unease. "And perhaps some directions. I seem to be lost." He chuckled, a sound that held no mirth. "Lost, huh? You're lucky you stumbled upon this place. The woods have a way of swallowing folks whole." His words sent a chill down my spine, but I pushed my apprehensions aside, eager to fuel up and find my way back to civilization. As I filled my tank, I couldn't help but notice the peculiar symbols etched onto the gas pumps, symbols that bore an uncanny resemblance to those associated with dark rituals. Curiosity gripped me, and against my better judgment, I found myself drawn to explore further. I followed a narrow path that led behind the gas station, the shadows growing thicker around me. It was then that I stumbled upon a hidden clearing, illuminated by the pale glow of moonlight. In the center of the clearing stood a circle of robed figures, their faces obscured by masks. The air crackled with an otherworldly energy, and the faint whispers of incantations reached my ears. I was frozen in place, my heart pounding in my chest, as I realized I had stumbled upon the gathering place of a cult. Fear surged through me, urging me to flee, but something held me in place. Perhaps it was morbid curiosity or the need to understand what was happening. I watched as the cultists moved with a solemn purpose, their rituals invoking a sense of dread that made my skin crawl. Time seemed to warp as the rituals unfolded, each movement precise and filled with dark intent. I knew I had to escape, to get as far away from this place as possible, but the forest seemed to conspire against me, its branches reaching out like gnarled fingers, impeding my progress. The cultists remained oblivious to my presence, their focus solely on their sinister rites. It was then that I noticed a glimmer of hope, a key hanging from a cultist's belt. With bated breath, I devised a plan to retrieve it, knowing it might be my only chance for escape. With a surge of adrenaline, I made my move. Stealthily, I approached the unsuspecting cultist, my heart pounding in my ears. I reached out, my fingers brushing against the key. It was then that the cultist turned, their eyes meeting mine with a mix of surprise and fury. A primal instinct took over as I sprinted through the forest, fueled by fear and desperation. The cultists gave chase, their eerie chants echoing through the trees. Branches clawed at my skin, and my lungs burned with exertion, but I refused to give in to the suffocating darkness that threatened to consume me. Finally, I burst through the treeline, stumbling into the safety of a nearby road. With trembling hands, I unlocked my car and sped away, leaving behind the horrors of that nightmarish place. As I put distance between myself and the gas station, I couldn't shake the feeling that I had witnessed something far more sinister than I could comprehend. The memory of those twisted rituals haunted me, a constant reminder of the darkness that lurks beneath the surface of our world. But I vowed to keep that night locked away, a secret that only I would carry. No one should know the horrors that await those who stumble upon the meeting place of the cult in the remote forest. And as the miles stretched out before me, I prayed that I would never again encounter such malevolence in the depths of the unknown. Let's hop onto story number 2, but before I begin reading, make sure that you have subscribed to Mr. Scare for regular horror podcasts. As the summer sun began to set, casting long shadows across the countryside, my friends and I found ourselves on a road trip through rural America. Eager to reach our destination before nightfall, we decided to take a shortcut through a deserted back road. Little did we know that this decision would lead us to a place of darkness and despair. The once paved road soon turned into a bumpy dirt path, surrounded by thick, overgrown vegetation. The atmosphere grew heavy with an eerie silence, broken only by the sound of our car engine and the rustling of leaves in the wind. As we rounded a bend, a dilapidated sign emerged from the shadows, barely readable, but still indicating the presence of an abandoned gas station up ahead. Curiosity got the better of us, and against our better judgment, we decided to investigate. The gas station stood before us like a forgotten relic of the past, its windows shattered, and its pumps covered in a thick layer of dust. It was a place frozen in time, a monument to forgotten dreams and lost hope. We cautiously stepped out of the car, our footsteps echoing through the silence. The air was thick with a sense of foreboding, as if the spirits of the past were watching our every move. With trepidation, we pushed open the creaking door and entered the desolate gas station. Inside, the scene was one of haunting decay. Shelves once filled with snacks and drinks now lay bare, covered in cobwebs and rotting debris. The air carried a musty odor, a scent of abandonment that seemed to permeate the very walls. It was as if the gas station itself had become a tomb, trapping the memories of its tragic past within its confines. As we ventured deeper into the gas station, we noticed faded photographs hanging on the walls, each capturing moments of joy and laughter that had long since faded away. It was then that we learned the gruesome history of this forsaken place. Decades ago, a family had owned and operated the gas station, serving as a vital pit stop for weary travelers. But tragedy struck when a terrible accident claimed the lives of the entire family, leaving behind a legacy of sorrow and despair. Legend had it that their restless spirits still haunted the gas station, unable to find peace in the afterlife. A chill ran down our spines as we heard whispers in the wind, soft murmurs of the past beckoning us further. Reluctantly, we followed the ethereal voices, descending into the dimly lit basement. The air grew colder, and our breath hung like mist in front of us. In the dim light, we saw remnants of a crude altar, a place where rituals had been performed in the name of some long-forgotten entity. The energy in the room felt oppressive, suffocating, as if the spirits of the family demanded our attention. Suddenly, a flicker of movement caught our eye, and we turned to see apparitions materializing before us. The spirits of the family stood in front of us, their faces etched with anguish and longing. They pleaded for release, for someone to free them from their eternal torment. Overwhelmed with fear and compassion, we resolved to help them find peace. Through research and determination, we discovered a ritual that would allow their spirits to finally rest. With trembling hands, we performed the ceremony, reciting ancient incantations and offering prayers to the lost souls. As the final words left our lips, a serene calm washed over the gas station. The spirits gradually faded away, their presence finally at peace. The once abandoned gas station seemed to breathe a sigh of relief, as if the weight of its tragic past had been lifted. With heavy hearts, we left the gas station behind, forever changed by the encounter with the spirits of the past. As we drove away, the darkness slowly receded, replaced by the warm glow of the rising sun. Though we had witnessed unimaginable horrors, we had also witnessed the power of compassion and redemption. And as we continued on our journey, we couldn't help but wonder how many other forgotten places harbored the pain and suffering of the past, waiting for someone to bring them solace and set their spirits free. I pulled into the deserted gas station on that moonless night, my car sputtering on fumes. The flickering neon sign offered a dim glow, casting an eerie ambience on the worn-out pavement. As I stepped out of the car, a chill ran down my spine, intensifying the feeling of unease that had already settled in my gut. The air was thick with an uncanny silence. I glanced around, half expecting to see another traveler seeking refuge in this desolate place. But to my surprise, I was the only one there. The only sign of life was the pale light emanating from the gas station's windows. I approached the building cautiously, my footsteps echoing in the stillness. Pushing open the heavy glass door, I entered the dimly lit interior. The sight that greeted me sent a shiver down my spine. The attendant behind the counter stood motionless, his eyes vacant and distant. His face was pale, devoid of any expression. A mechanical smile was etched upon his lips, frozen in an unnatural position. I tried to shake off the unnerving feeling that settled upon me as I walked toward him. "Fill it up, please," I said, my voice trembling slightly. The attendant didn't respond. His gaze remained fixed on some distant point, unblinking. I cleared my throat, growing increasingly uneasy. "Excuse me, sir?" Still, there was no response. It was as if he was nothing more than an automaton, programmed to carry out his duties with mechanical precision. I glanced around, noticing the other customers in the store. They, too, stood perfectly still, their gazes vacant and unblinking. Fear gripped me. I had stumbled upon something far more sinister than a mere gas station. The eerie behavior of these people sent chills down my spine. I had to get out of there, but my car needed fuel. I hesitated for a moment before deciding to take matters into my own hands. As I grabbed the nozzle and began filling my car, a strange sensation washed over me. It felt as if unseen eyes were watching my every move. I tried to shake off the feeling, but it persisted, intensifying with each passing moment. The sound of the fuel pumping seemed to echo through the stillness, amplifying my unease. Finishing up, I turned to make my way back to the store, only to freeze in my tracks. The robotic figures had shifted, their eyes now fixated on me. Their mechanical smiles contorted into twisted expressions, sending a wave of terror coursing through my veins. I stumbled backward, my heart pounding in my chest. "Who are you? What do you want?" I managed to stammer, my voice trembling with fear. The figures remained motionless, their eyes piercing through my very soul. The air grew thick with an unnatural tension, suffocating me. Summoning all my courage, I bolted for the exit, desperate to escape this nightmarish scene. The door swung open with a creak, and as I burst into the cool night air, a sense of relief washed over me. But my relief was short-lived. As I sprinted towards my car, I realized the once empty parking lot was now filled with identical vehicles. Their doors swung open simultaneously, and I could see more motionless figures sitting inside, their lifeless eyes fixed upon me. In a moment of sheer panic, I fumbled for my keys and desperately started the engine. Tires screeched as I peeled out of the gas station, leaving behind the haunting scene that had forever etched itself into my memory. To this day, I can't explain what happened in that remote gas station. I don't know if those figures were mere illusions or something far more sinister. But one thing is certain, I will never forget the chilling encounter with the robotic beings that haunted that gas station in the dead of night. And as I continue my journey, I can't help but wonder if there are more of those stations scattered across the country, waiting to ensnare unsuspecting travelers in their web of mechanical terror. I had been working the night shift at the gas station for months, and in that time, I had grown accustomed to the monotony and solitude that came with the job. But little did I know that a terrifying secret was about to unravel, one that would shake the very foundation of my reality. It started innocently enough. Late one night, while monitoring the security footage, I noticed a flicker on the screen. At first, I dismissed it as a glitch, a momentary blip in the system. But as the nights wore on, the flickers became more frequent, and I couldn't ignore the unease that settled in the pit of my stomach. Curiosity gnawed at me, compelling me to dig deeper into the footage. I scrutinized every frame, my eyes scouring the screen for any abnormalities. And then, there it was, a distorted figure lurking in the background. It moved with an unnatural fluidity, its shape contorting and warping with each passing second. Fear gripped me, but my curiosity outweighed my instinct to run. I needed to know what was happening, even if it meant diving headfirst into the unknown. I spent hours poring over the recordings, piecing together the fragments of this haunting puzzle. As the nights bled into each other, I uncovered a pattern. The distorted figures appeared more frequently during the witching hour, their presence growing more tangible with each passing night. Shadows seemed to dance on the periphery of the camera's view, their elongated forms swaying to an otherworldly rhythm. I couldn't keep my discoveries to myself any longer. I confided in a trusted friend, desperate for answers. They suggested researching the history of the gas station, hoping to unearth any dark secrets that may have been buried beneath its foundation. Together, we delved into the archives, tracing the station's origins back to the early 1900s. And that's when we stumbled upon a chilling revelation: a tragedy had befallen the site decades ago. A fire had consumed the gas station, claiming the lives of innocent souls trapped within its walls. It was then that the pieces began to fall into place. The distorted figures in the security footage were the spirits of the lost, trapped in a liminal space between our world and the afterlife. They were reaching out, desperate for release, their distorted forms a reflection of their torment. As the days turned into weeks, the haunting grew more intense. The apparitions appeared not just on the security footage, but also in the corners of my vision. I could feel their presence, a chilling breath on the back of my neck, a whisper in the wind. But I refused to let fear consume me. Armed with the knowledge of their tragic past, I embarked on a mission to set them free. With the help of a local paranormal expert, we conducted a ritual, a bridge between the worlds that would guide the lost souls to their final resting place. As the incantations filled the air, the gas station seemed to come alive. Shadows danced with renewed fervor, the distorted figures converging upon a single point. And then, in a burst of ethereal light, they were gone, released from their spectral prison. A profound stillness settled over the gas station, as if the weight of the past had been lifted. I knew then that I had done something meaningful, something that would bring peace to the restless spirits that had haunted me for so long. From that day forward, the gas station remained a place of tranquility. The security footage showed no more distorted figures, and the darkness that had once plagued my nights had dissipated. The gas station stood as a testament to the power of facing our fears, of unraveling the mysteries that lurk in the shadows. Though the experience left an indelible mark on my soul, I emerged stronger, a guardian of the spirits who had found solace in the release. And as I continued my work at the gas station, I couldn't help but wonder what other secrets awaited, lurking just beyond the reach of our perception. I had been working at the small gas station for years, tucked away on a desolate stretch of road in the heartland of America. It was a quiet job, with little excitement or intrigue. That is, until one fateful night when I stumbled upon a secret that would change my life forever. It was during my routine late-night shift when I noticed something peculiar. As I swept the floors near the back of the store, a loose floorboard caught my attention. Curiosity got the better of me, and I knelt down to investigate. With a bit of effort, I managed to pry the floorboard loose, revealing a small opening beneath. A rush of cold air wafted up from the hidden cavity, causing a shiver to run down my spine. Without hesitation, I grabbed a flashlight and descended into the dark abyss below the gas station. The narrow tunnel seemed to stretch on endlessly, its damp walls coated with layers of grime and neglect. I cautiously made my way through the claustrophobic passageway, the beam of my flashlight cutting through the darkness like a lifeline. As I ventured deeper, the tunnel widened, revealing a hidden chamber concealed beneath the gas station. The sight that greeted me sent a chill down my spine. The room was filled with rows upon rows of shelves, each lined with strange and unsettling objects. I cautiously approached one of the shelves, my heart pounding in my chest. The items before me were unlike anything I had ever seen. Jars filled with murky liquids, bizarre symbols etched onto ancient scrolls, and peculiar contraptions that defied explanation. It was clear that this secret chamber held something far more sinister than I could have ever imagined. As I explored further, I stumbled upon a set of documents hidden among the shelves. They revealed the true nature of the operation conducted by the gas station's owners. They were conducting illicit experiments, using unsuspecting customers as unwilling subjects. The revelation sent shockwaves through my entire being. I had unknowingly been a part of this dark operation, serving as a pawn in their twisted game. The people who had come and gone through those gas station doors had unknowingly walked into a trap, their lives forever altered by the sinister forces at play. Fear and anger welled up inside me, but I knew I couldn't confront the owners alone. I needed evidence, something that could expose their heinous actions to the world. With the documents in hand, I retraced my steps through the underground tunnel, emerging back into the cold night air. Over the next few days, I meticulously gathered more evidence, documenting the hidden chamber and the documents that implicated the gas station owners. It was a dangerous game, knowing that they were watching my every move. But I was determined to bring them to justice and put an end to their monstrous operation. With the help of a trusted friend and law enforcement, we launched a covert investigation into the gas station owners. The evidence we gathered was enough to expose their dark secrets to the authorities, leading to their arrest and the subsequent dismantling of their operation. In the aftermath, the gas station went through a change of ownership, and the hidden underground chamber was sealed off for good. But the memories of that terrifying discovery still haunt me to this day. The realization that evil can lurk in the most unsuspecting places has forever changed my perception of the world. And as I continue on my path, I can't help but wonder how many other seemingly ordinary locations harbor dark secrets, waiting to be unearthed by those who dare to delve into the unknown.